Hello guys, welcome into another episode of Cosmere Catchup. Today I'm really excited because we are going to be discussing The Secret History and Warbreaker. I finished both of these, I want to say probably 2 weeks ago now. I finished Warbreaker while I was in Colorado. If you saw my Colorado vlog or you saw my just like catch up. And then Secret History I finished, I want to say last week. And I just started the Way of Kings, but I think I'm gonna do Way of Kings in like a whole separate video, probably like right after this one, so stay tuned for that. I am here today though to discuss these two. Like I said, I've got lots of theories, lots of like fun updates, and my spoiler and spoiler-free reviews to discuss with y'all. Let's go ahead and start with Warbreaker. Warbreaker is super interesting. It's basically, oh, also, pause. If you didn't notice, I got hardcovers of most of Brandon Sanderson's works. Let's go ahead and roll the footage of me putting those on my shelf. Okay, hello besties, we're back. I'm at my bookshelf. If you watched my last video, my besties, Olivia, Ashley, and I went book shopping. And while we were out, I found hardcover copies of the Brandon Sanderson books that I've already read, which I didn't know that they were still printing the hardcover copies. So when I saw these, I was flabbergasted. I said, I definitely need those. But that means we do have to redo our whole Cosmere shelf. I mean, right now, my whole mistborn can fit next to all of my other books. A couple of these are missing if you like can see that close. To be honest, I have a couple of them pulled for other videos that I'm currently reading, but I used to be able to fit every Brandon Sanderson book right here. That is no longer going to be the case. So what I'm thinking is I think I'm going to move the romance shelf down, and I'll put the books that are currently on the bottom shelf. I haven't read them. I just display them. I think I'll put them maybe back on my regular shelf for now. I don't know. I don't really know what to do. Because the thing is my Red Rising shelf is like a non-negotiable. I'm not getting rid of this. My Fourth Wing shelf, I maybe could consolidate, but I own a lot of like little trinkets that like relate to Fourth Wing, so I'd kind of like to keep it on a shelf if I can, but I guess we'll see. And then, yeah, my Brandon Sanderson shelf is definitely going to have to grow into 2 shelves. I also don't own every book in hardcover yet. I'm going to have to place a order to get the rest. So I still will need the Arcanum Unbounded, and then the second half of the Mistborn trilogy, or saga. I basically will need the Wax and Wayne edition series. I don't know what you would call that, but gonna need those, but all the other books I should have in hardcover, even the little novellas. So, let's redo the shelf. Also, something that I like put my Brandon Sanderson shelf is for. I don't even know if you'll be able to see this. It's like a little fortune cookie I got one time that says, "Your dreams of travel are in your future." Like right after I got this, I got notified that I was going to be able to go to Dragon. I actually don't know where Warbreaker is. Okay, I lied. It's sitting right there, like right behind you. But for a second, I was like, rest in pieces, my little mass market paperbacks. I don't know what to do. I'm kind of thinking maybe I'll keep these because I like to read this edition. It's really like handy just to throw in your purse or whatever. But they get so beaten up. I mean, like the first book, for example, is like it's damaged. Here's my second Mistborn trilogy or saga, whatever you would call this. I got these off of a girl from Pango Books. I don't know what to do. Because I kind of like them. Like I said, I like reading this size. I think it's kind of nifty. but I want the hardcovers for my shelf. So those here for now. Okay. So I got Elantris. Then we have the 3 mistborns. So mistborn, Develop of Ascension, and the Harrow of Ages. Ooh, those fit perfectly. Because then I could put Tress here, the other Stormlight here. Okay, then I've got Warbreaker as well. Right now I'm gonna put Warbreaker up here. Because the thing is I don't need to rearrange the whole bookshelf until I get the second half. Because like I said, I still have 5 books that I'll need to be caught up in my hardcovers. So, and then I have the 2 Stormlight Archive novellas, and then I did go ahead and buy, they have the hardcover copy of The Secret History, but it's sitting over there because I'm currently reading it. So, these go up here. I think once I get The Secret History, I'll put it here, like in front of Mistborn maybe. If I had a bigger shelf, I think it'd be fun to, like, you know, show off some of the covers. But anywho, what I was saying, Warbreaker. This one is a standalone by Brandon. It is basically about these 2 sisters, Ciri and Vivenna, and their adventure in... What the hell was that? It's basically about Ciri and Vivenna and their adventure in this, like, political war, kind of. Basically, Vivenna has been trained her whole life to go be the queen of a king at a different kingdom, but last minute their father decides to switch places and send Ciri instead, and chaos and other things pursue from there, obviously. So this book follows Ciri as she tries to, you know, figure out what it means to be a queen, especially when you haven't been training your whole life like your sister has. But also this follows Vivenna on her adventure to try to save her sister. Obviously things get crazy, but my favorite part of this book is there is such a unique magic system. When people talk about unique magic systems with Brandon, they always talk about Mistborn. Why has no one ever talked about this one, huh? It's literally breath-based color magic. Like you can get magic from and to people by breathing. It's crazier than it sounds. It's not just like, it's like fancy, okay? But with those breaths, you get basically like enhanced color magic. So the people that have the most breaths, their world is very bright and beautiful and colorful. Duh! There's another character in here that we follow. His name is Vasher, I want to say, and he has a sword called Nightblood. Y'all, why is the sword the best character? Literally the best character in the whole book, okay? Like, I loved reading about Nightblood. He was so funny, and he was so, like, dark, but, like, in a comedic, like, juicy way to where you just wanted to read from his POV. And then I think there's one other POV, but I've forgotten. But anywho, spoiler-free rating, 5 out of 5 stars. I would highly, highly recommend reading Warbreaker. Next, I read The Secret History. This one, to not give any spoilers, basically it's Mistborn 3.5. It follows the characters, or should I say a certain character, after the events of the first Mistborn trilogy. This book, I pretty much can't explain it all though, because anything I would say about it would be a spoiler for the first 3 Mistborn books. But let me just put it on record that I do think reading this after the original Mistborn was superb. You're following, like I said, events that happen in that book pretty closely, and you're following a character from that trilogy pretty closely. So the idea of waiting till book like 7 or 8 or whatever to read this, that's crazy. And don't get me wrong, I could regret that once I read Mistborn 7 or 8, but at least for right now, I'm feeling pretty good about reading this where I did. But yeah, this book, highly, highly recommend. Obviously, you have to read the first 3 Mistborns, but I will say that this one, it connects so many dots. I'm starting to see so many Cosmere connections now, and it just like solved a bunch of questions that were like left in the Mistborn trilogy. But yeah, spoiler-free rating. I think on Goodreads I rated this a 5, but like it's probably realistically a 4.54-ish. Like it's a novella, but it was so good and my jaw was on the literal ground. But anywho, I think that's pretty much all of my spoiler-free rating. I'm gonna go ahead and say to skip to this time if you don't want spoilers. I think I'm gonna go ahead and discuss kind of like some Cosmere connections I've started to see and some theories I've been brewing up. But yeah, let's get into the spoilers. Obviously, both of these books had tons of Cosmere connections, but I want to discuss Warbreaker first. That ending, literally psychotic behavior, Brandon Sanderson. What was that? You're telling me that it just like ends? And then the epilogue, sorry. I really think Vasher and Nightblood and Vivenna are gonna come back. I doubt they have the same names though. I already have theories of, I think I've met Vasher in Way of Kings, but I'm not sure. There was just a character in the like literal prologue, or I guess the prelude, that reminded me a lot of Vasher, but that could just be me seeing connections where connections aren't. But, oh, I like this picture of Brandon in the back here. Looks very like sophisticated. But anywho, yeah, I think it's crazy. The like creatures that they made in this reminded me a lot of the Koloss from Mistborn, which I think is interesting. I don't think they're connected necessarily, but I do think that there's a reason that they have similar ideas. I think Brandon really likes to make stuff kind of parallel like that. I remembered, they're called the Returned. The Returned and the Koloss and someone else. Oh, the people in The Secret History. They all kind of give similar vibes of like what happens when you kind of meddle with death. But yeah, really intrigued to see where these characters go. I know we're not done with them, especially after that epilogue. But yeah, I liked this book so much. I am so far deep into The Way of Kings though that I have somehow forgotten everything that happened here. I knew I should have recorded this update sooner, but here we are. Can't go back in time now. But yeah, I really think that this one was super good. Started to see so many connections, and I was really excited about that, to be honest. But then speaking of Cosmere connections, jeez. You're telling me Kelsier is alive? Like, huh? I'm sorry? Well, alive-ish. I am so obsessed with this man. I am down bad for him, okay? I love Kelsier. I think that his story, listen, okay, I read Brandon's like after script or whatever it's called, postscript, and I understand what he's saying about bringing characters back from the dead, but this is a character that deserved to be brought back from the dead. I love Kelsier, and it makes so much sense that he was kind of the one pulling the strings the whole time, like a little bit. I love him. I just know that this book had so many Cosmere connections. We learned about the cognitive realm. We learned about the shards. I think that's what they're called. This book had my literal jaw on the ground. I forgot what part it was, but there was a part that I was reading it and I was just sitting there like, because I could not contain my excitement. This book was fire. I'm so happy that I read this. I was gonna wait and do it in the later stages, but I do think that reading this now is the right call for me, at least, because like I said, I love Kelsier, but also I think that for me it was nice because I am still kind of fresh with Mistborn, like I'm still remembering it, and I think if I had waited I would sit there like, huh? Also, I don't know what the spoiler for Bands of Mourning or whatever was, so I guess I'll find out when I find out. But yeah, there's so much of this book that reminded me of other books, like the people he went and saw. I read somewhere that people think that they are the Elantrians. That's crazy. That is crazy. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's literally so much I could talk about this, but I'm just gonna be honest with you guys. I'm so excited to record my Way of Kings segment. I can't think of anything else. Yeah. Anywho, that is my update for these two and my little clip of me showing you that I bought hardcovers of the books. I'm really, really excited to own these hardcovers. I think I'm going to ask for the rest of the hardcovers for my birthday. But, anywho, stay tuned for the Way of Kings update. That one is going to be good. Y'all, I am sensing some stuff. Brandon Sanderson is cooking with these books, okay? Anywho, thank you so much for watching. I really hope to catch you in the next one. Like I said, plan to do a Way of Kings specific deep dive. I just finished part 1 yesterday, so I'm gonna do kind of a part 1 deep dive of Way of Kings, basically talk about my theories and some of the stuff I think I'm catching so far, just because I think that would be fun to document it. So stay tuned for that update, and I will see you guys